Welcome back, everybody, to the Disc Golf Pro Tour. This is the Ledgestone Insurance Open Round 1, back 9. Got 4 rounds coming to you guys this weekend. Thank you so much to GKPro for filming the ladies. My name is Paige Pierce.
And I'm Missy Gannon.
We are both sponsored by DISCRAFT, as is this coverage. So thank you, DISCRAFT, so much for everything you do for the women's division and all of disc golf, really. But so on the front 9, we saw Ellen Widboom shoot 2 under par, myself and Missy at 1 under, and Elaine King at even. But we had some other hot scores on other cards. We saw Vanessa Van Dyken shoot a hot front 9, and we're looking to track her down.
Yeah. This is, we got a lot of birdies coming up on this back 9. As you can see, this leaderboard, Lisa, Kat, Owen, all at 3 down. Ellen, 2 down right behind, a bunch of other 2 downs, and then a bunch of other 1 downs. So, you know, we'll definitely look to capitalize on the birdies on the back 9 and hopefully make this these scores a little tighter. Hole 10, 301 feet, par 3. It does play slightly uphill, and there are these willow trees up by the basket. Not a lot of danger as far as OB goes. I don't even know if there is any OB on this hole at all, other than that little bit that's deep that probably won't come into play. But you're just looking to beat these willow trees any way you can, either go left side or try to get through them and find yourself close to the basket. A little bit of a misrelease from Paige there. You know, it happens sometimes.
Was not looking forward to watching that one.
She was cringing the whole time. Elaine right up the middle. She'll have to figure out how to navigate those last few bushes to the basket.
Ellen's shot on this hole, I think, is the preferred shot with the sidearm turnover.
Yeah.
She lets that one go a little bit early, so she's going to find actually the backhand hyzer gap, but
Yeah.
I expect to see her improve on that shot throughout the weekend. Missy's going to be closest inside the circle, looking
Circle
at a
2.
birdie putt.
Yeah.
It wasn't inside circle 1?
No, it was circle 2. It was a little short. Like you said, the forehand route is definitely the preferred route. At least that's the way that the hole was designed to play. Go outside to the left of that big tree. So for me, I'm just trying to go straight at that big tree and slightly inside, but hung it out a little bit too much. Looking at a downhill putt, definitely running this one. Gave it the right height, just hyzered out a little early.
This is my look to save par. Couldn't see the basket, so just kind of sent it over that bush and just a little bit too high. Ellen, pretty similar spot, just a little closer. Hyzer bid does not connect. Not very often I throw thumbers, so
Yeah.
you know I'm scrambling out there.
Throw thumbers over a big barn.
Yeah, over a barn. I was like, oh, okay, well, I shanked it, but at least I'll be able to get up and down. And I walk over there, just couldn't even see around the corner.
But that's okay. We're at hole 11, 393 feet, par 3, plays quite a bit downhill. There is a short little OB patch that is kind of like this swampy-ish area that does get waterlogged from time to time. So instead of, they just left it OB from years past. And then there is that pond along that can come into play. Just trying to throw a big bomb out here, get a full flight, and find yourself close. Elaine will find herself just a little short, but she'll have a pitch up to the basket from there.
Yeah, and that OB marsh area definitely makes you think about what you want to do. Do you have that distance or not? Because if you don't, you're going to want to take some distance off on purpose and lay up short of that OB.
Ellen probably looking for a little bit more turn. She'll find herself around Circle 2's edge. I loved this out of my hand. And for good reason, just barely over that little OB spot, but I'll find myself just outside circle 1.
And this is my Raptor here, just trying to throw it hard and committed at the basket. I'm going to find myself a little bit left just inside the circle.
Nice pitch up from Elaine.
Ooh.
Ellen definitely running it. Whenever she has that Nova in her hand, she's looking to float one up in there for sure.
I think she loves landing in circle 2.
Yeah.
I think that's her favorite part of the game, just jump putt.
Unfortunately, missing my circle 2 putt there, but you didn't like it out of your hand. You hit kind of corner pocket, but
Yeah.
birdie's birdie, so.
Corner pocket. That one felt like it should not have gone in, but maybe that's payback from hole 3. We'll get back to under par.
Heading into hole 12, 383 feet, par 3. Plays pretty downhill. This one feels really technical to me, in my opinion, on this course especially. It's kind of the first one where you have to navigate some bushes and trees, and there's that pond pretty close to the basket, all on the right side. And it's really easy to lose a disc in those bushes and trees on the right side. So you're just looking to gun it right at the basket. Try to match that hill and go straight to the basket. If you hit this hillside, you might get a nice little skip and roll to the pin, and you'll just come up a little bit short.
Elaine throwing a similar shot, just a tiny bit short. And honestly, on any other hole, those 70-foot approaches are pretty simple. But on this hole, the way that the terrain is sloping downhill from left to right, with that water down there, it's really scary, especially because you have those 2 big bushy trees that you have to kind of contend with.
And I was trying to throw it low and ended up throwing it high, but it's just fine. I'll just be up outside of circle 2 up on the hill and looking down at this green, which is quite a bit sloped. Nice little jump approach from Elaine.
When you're almost left enough where you can go straight at it.
But see, I wanted to kind of throw it into the ground because I know that the slope can carry those discs pretty far.
And I was just trying to pitch one up, nose up over that tree and drop it straight down, but I kind of clipped the top of it and dropped short.
Yeah, Ellen's drive kind of got caught by that bush there, and might have been fortunate.
Happy to tap that one in to save par. Left myself with a little bit of a tester there.
Whoa, look at all those bugs.
Yeah, swarming.
Yeah.
Very humid out today.
Just a bunch of pars on this hole. No big deal.
Yeah, there
really.
was no birdies on this hole in the whole day.
Wow.
So leaderboard check-in, we got Lisa and Vanessa at 3 under, and those are the only 2 currently. We got a bunch of 2 and 1 unders chasing them with a few holes left to play in this opening round.
And that brings us into hole 13. It's only 280 feet, but it does play uphill and through this pretty tight gap to an island green. So you really have to be dialed on this shot. You need to throw something very committed and just trust that you know exactly what your disc is going to do to land nice and safely into this island green, which isn't very much bigger than circle 1. So it's pretty tight.
And that was my raptor, and I loved it out of my hand. Spotter gave me a red flag. I didn't believe him.
Are you sure? I think it's exactly what you asked. But you could see there's literally a foot from circles 1's edge to the OB line.
Yeah, very small island, and it's blind, so
Yeah.
it's a very difficult hole. I mean, considering it's 280 feet, you know, it's not very often that we play a hole that's that short, that hard to land it inbounds.
Yeah, and that forces you to make the decision. Do you want to be aggressive and try to go for the island and get the 2, or do what Ellen and Elaine did and pitch up short just to play for that 3? And I'm saying, you know, first round, why not go for it? I'll probably go for it again, but unfortunately just hang it a little bit too low and find myself OB.
So Elaine and Ellen now have very manageable approaches, about 120 feet or less.
Yep, both very good shots. And any drive that goes OB off of the tee has to proceed to this drop zone, which is what, about 70 feet maybe?
Yeah, I would say a little outside circle 2.
So after you confirmed your drive was OB, you went to the drop zone, and so will I. Eyeing this one up.
Oh, I liked both of our bids, honestly.
They were great.
It's a long look to save par.
Ellen just playing it the way she planned. Same with Elaine. And you and I will be tapping in our bogeys. But that's the risk you're taking, you know, going aggressive. So.
Yeah, you kind of know you're going to take a bogey if you go B. That drop zone's a little far away, so.
Yeah, definitely. But then we have hole 14, which is a 329-foot par 3, very gettable, pretty flat, no real elevation changes to really speak of. There is OB all along the left and the right sides in those tall grass areas. And then the basket is surrounded by these 3 big trees, but they don't really come into play. You're just looking to throw a nice straight drive right at the basket and find yourself sort of in that little bowl where the basket is.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those holes that's just like you have to get the distance correct.
Right.
And if you do land a little too right, you do sometimes have to contend with that tree. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, it's not very thick, so you can just step out and throw a straddle putt up there.
Yeah.
Ellen, perfectly pin high, just kind of right by that tree we were just talking about. I have a huck face before I even throw it.
You're concentrating hard.
Haven't even thrown it yet.
It's because you're throwing this overstable raptor really hard, and for good reason, because it's right by the basket.
I like throwing that super stable one up the right side on this hole. Mm-hmm. Nice and low and fast, and let that skip come in and bring it in.
Yep. And like you said, just I knew my distance on that thrasher, and I knew it was perfect for this shot.
Oh, out of Elaine's hand. I thought that was in the basket. Just a little clip on that branch, dropped the speed down, and it will land short of the basket.
Ellen knew right of her hand it was just going to be a little low. Great birdie pickup by Paige.
And another great birdie. Both of us move into 1 under par. right behind Ellen at 2 under. We're coming down the stretch on this first round now, and we're all so close.
In the morning.
Birdie Fuel Coffee. Oh,
He took the cup. Where's he going with the cup? That's the cup.
took the cup. BirdieFuelCoffee.com.
Hey everybody, I'm Paige Pierce, and today I'm going to talk to you about my 2020 Tour Series disc, the Buzz. What I love about this disc is its versatility. It's almost as far as a fairway driver, but it's so straight like a mid-range. The Buzz is a staple in my bag. I think this mold is perfect for anybody. With its slow speed and its controllable flight, it's good for all skill levels, and anybody would benefit from having a Buzz in their bag.
Coming into hole 15, it's a 555-foot par 4, severe dogleg to the left. There's OB all along the left side in the tall grass and those trees, as well as OB farther on the right side. You're just looking to get yourself far enough down the fairway straight to have an open look at this lane here for your birdie, but it's no easy feat going up that second shot. It does present some low ceiling and some technical variances that make it difficult.
This is my Buzz here, trying to get a nice understable glide, but let it go a little bit early, so I'm going to find myself a little shorter than I intended. I think, yeah, like you're saying, the main objective is just to get it as far enough to where you can see around the corner. Otherwise, you're kind of throwing a blind shot and you don't really have a chance at the 3.
Think through this pretty good. I'm actually just barely past the corner, so I can see the basket from there.
Elaine a little too sharp out of her hand. She's going to find the ground pretty early. And the 3 is not going to be in play, but we'll see how far she can get around the corner to make the 4 a little bit more feasible. I think sidearm on this hole actually is a pretty good option. You're throwing it towards the OB, but knowing it's going to hyzer as long as you get that distance.
So Lane's just trying to make sure she gets around the corner, put herself in pretty good position to get up and down for her par.
Nice angle with that skip too. And I can't see the basket at all, so I'm just pitching my fierce around the corner, trying to get in a good spot.
Yeah, I think Ellen could just barely see the basket, so she was definitely going for that green. Only barely misreleased, and she'll find herself just a bit short. As you can see, I can see the basket, and I'm forced to kind of throw a little flip up hyzer shot. Just hang it a little too wide, and I bounce out to just outside, I think just inside circle 2.
Yeah, it's a tricky low ceiling on this one. That second or third shot, very low ceiling. Going with a sidearm approach here.
Ellen's got that Nova in her hand, so she's definitely running it.
Yeah. Beautiful line, just a little bit higher. That was from downtown. Missy's sizing up this putt.
Definitely trying. Just a bit too low.
We'll have a bunch of pars here.
Yeah, and from all of our different spots off the tee, you know, it's pretty cool to see you can still make your par no matter what, really, as long as you don't go OB early or anything too crazy. No harm, no foul there. Leaderboard check-in. Now we've got Kat and Vanessa up there at 3 down. Ellen and Valerie just one behind them, along with Callie, and then a few 1 downs and a couple evens. Still a tight race. Got a couple of holes to go. And hole 16 is a 352-foot par 3. Definitely like an interesting shot because you can see the basket from the tee, but it sort of bends to the right just a little bit that you need to throw something that's going to hold pretty straight for a while and just have a slight bit of turn at the end. I've also seen rollers on this hole. Kind of a variety of shots. I'm sure we're going to see a sidearm from Ellen. So I think we'll see some fun things here. Looks like you're going with that roller shot.
Yeah, this is my Avenger SS.
Quick. Oh.
No, the
Yeah,
dreaded
one thing in
stump.
the middle.
Ugh, we need to grind that thing down. Throwing my flippiest thrasher, just a little bit too much hyzer, but it'll be nice and straight. I'll find myself a few steps outside of circle 1.
Elaine with a nice height on that release. Just a little bit too soft and hyzers out about 100 feet short of the basket.
Ellen with that sidearm. Hangs out a little wide, doesn't quite have the swing, and she is inside circle 2.
Yeah, good distance. Like you said, just not the swing over there.
Nice approach with your Crystal Fierce. Ellen giving this a floaty bid. There is a quite a bit of a decline behind the basket, and definitely have seen some rollaways on this one. Still trying to, I'm going for everything, just need to get it up.
So a bunch of par tap-ins. No one could convert here on hole 16. We got 2 holes to play, one of which is a par 4.
Which is our next hole. Hole 17, 525 feet, par 4. There is OB all along the left side. There is a mando tree about halfway down the fairway on the right side. So you just need to make sure you stay nice and center in this fairway and get as much distance as you can to make your approach a little bit more less difficult, because you have to shoot into this pretty small gap onto this really undulating green here where the basket sits. So Paige is ripping her Zeus out here, just absolutely smashing it, getting as much distance as you could ever ask for. And you're looking into the mouth.
Yeah, that's an ideal spot. I am looking straight into it, so I don't have to kind of like chip a shot into there, which is a very common approach. You're going to see some chip shots in there. So And a lot of them are blind if you don't get it far enough. So that's the object of this drive, is just to get it far enough where you can see into that gap and not kind of play a guessing game. Also, if you're far enough left, you don't want to get too far left, obviously, because there's out of bounds. But if you're close to that out of bounds, you can actually see the basket as well. Ellen going with the sidearm here, of course, but just a little bit too wide and doesn't find enough finish. So she's going to be quite a ways back on this fairway. She needs to get into that gap to save the par.
Too short.
And just comes up just a little bit short.
I'm just a bit farther back than I usually am. So I'm trying to throw a sidearm up there and just throw it straight into the ground.
Good line, just a little bit low. Elaine now going for the Anheuser into the green. Blind shot. This is beautifully thrown.
That was
She's
great.
past the basket even. Nice speed when it came down too.
Forced to throw this touchy backhand Anheuser a little flat out of my hand. I am inside the circle, just up the hill.
Thank you.
Ellen now way in the trees, looking to find a hole. She does.
Yeah. Pretty severely downhill here. Probably should have dropped to a knee because again, just a little bit too high on that one. I got to make a mental note and drop to a knee on those elevated greens.
All right, great 3 there from Elaine. Almost a little bit too far left, but stuck. She's all smiles.
Easy 3 for Paige there. Ellen with that OB will take away a bogey, and so will I without the OB. But we're heading into 18, which is a 383-foot par 3, pretty downhill. You have to shoot over this valley, and the basket does sit on a slightly elevated hill, but it's still very downhill from the tee box. There is OB on the right side, that sort of cement patio there, and a couple of little OBs that don't really ever come into play, but just looking to shoot one straight at the basket, try to keep that height right so you don't hyzer out too early.
Yeah, the slant down to the left side definitely comes into play. It's right around where a majority of the FPO division's drive capabilities are, so it starts to hyzer down when it loses speed right down that hill and leaves you with a putt that's not really that makeable.
Yeah. Elaine's shot shape was perfect. You sort of ride to the right a little bit, get that height nice and high, and then she, I think, was right around circle's edge.
Great shot from Elaine there. Missy now with her thrasher.
I was really ripping on this one, just turned it over way too much. I'll find myself just short, almost pin high, but way on the right side.
Ellen now going with the sidearm. Wants to hang this one wide. And it comes out nice out of her hand. And gets the skip up onto the flat part. She has a 15-footer for birdie here on the 18th.
Yeah, and kind of a nice change since recently, you know, we actually have a little bit of a gallery kind of hanging out up by the clubhouse. So they're able to see our shots come in, have some cheers. We haven't had that in a little bit.
Just a tiny bit left.
Yeah, you
on
almost
that
ring that
one.
one up.
Yeah, it was awesome to have the gallery back. There was limited spectator passes available for this Phase 2 event. And like you said, we have been missing the gallery. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Great 2 from Ellen. She's stoked about that one.
Yeah, I'm sure she was looking at the scores and knowing that that was going to land herself a lead card spot. You will also find yourself on lead card, finishing at that 2 down.
And Elaine almost hit that birdie putt too, just a tiny bit too high, but she'll settle for par, and she's dancing her way into the clubhouse.
And scores are tight, man. This there's a lot of birdies to be had out here, and I think you'll see a lot to come. We've got Ellen at 2, Paige at 2, Elaine at 1, and I'm at even. But other than that, we've seen some 3 downs. I think you'll see coming up here, which will top us off on that lead card. Kat and Vanessa, followed by Paige and Ellen. And like we said, this is a 4-round tournament, so there are 3 rounds to go. Plenty of golf left. A lot of birdies out here. Looking to see some hot rounds.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to GKPro on YouTube and be alerted for round 2 through 4.